running for governor, and one of the main things that I wanted to do was to be able to let the community talk to this man, because if he is elected, I want to know what he did.
Oh, he will be elected. Okay, we're gonna be there right.
We'd like to have somebody be accountable for what they say is going to happen in our communities. Am I right about that?
Sure.
I mean, we have had the last 3 governors go to prison, am I correct?
I know, right?
I mean, am I the only one that follows the news? Am I the only one?
No,
Okay, well, you know, and I think we're at a point now where we have to really get into some serious conversation. Because if he's running for governor, we need to know what he stands for. Do y'all agree with what I'm saying? And although, you know, I love the fact that he's a black man running for governor, but I don't want to rest his election on his color.
Indeed.
Are y'all following me? So I want to get into this. First of all, thank you for coming to the show.
I'm glad to be here.
Oh man, we met you at, what was the event? It was the...
You met him at that event.
I've been doing brand before.
You know what I mean? The show me.
Yes, we met him at a back to school fundraiser where we actually blessed the children with backpacks going back to school. So, it's a pleasure to have you sitting here, and I could never imagine that I would do my first live audience streaming with you being a guest. So that's amazing, that's amazing. I know we announced you, but can you please tell everybody who you are?
Yeah, I'm Tio Hardiman. I'm running for governor here in the state of Illinois. I ran for governor in 2014 and secured close to 30% of the state vote back then. So I'm running again, and I would like to just be straight up with everybody. I am running to become the first black governor of the state of Illinois. I'm not going to try to hide behind that. The reality, we've given everybody else a chance to be the governor and with no results in our community. So why not Tio Hardiman for governor? I'm not going to play with the public. Why not Tio Hardiman? What makes any of these other candidates any better than me? Amen. Seriously, what makes them better? Because they got more money? Amen. That's the reason why the state is in the condition it is in now, and our community is suffering as a result of us playing plantation politics.
Well, let's start with how you got into politics. How did you get your foot in the door with politics?
Now, I've been putting a lot of work in the community for a long, long time. You know, I come out of promotions myself. I used to promote all the big comedy shows in Chicago, parties, everything. I've been a community leader, community activist way before it was popular, okay? I'm one of the guys that stood up to make sure Sue Titty McCarthy got fired here in Chicago way before it became popular to do so. So, you know, I come out to hearing on the projects and the Avalon Park community, and I've lived all over the city of Chicago. But I've been involved in politics for some time. But I decided to run for office because I traced my roots to a slave plantation in Louisiana, and I began to realize our ancestors put a lot of good work in for us to be where we are today, and I wanted to do something to salute and celebrate our ancestors as well. It's time for a black governor in Illinois. We had Harold Washington for mayor of Chicago. Barack Obama was the president. It's time to do something different in Illinois. Right now, unemployment is 14.2% statewide for African American people, but in Chicago it's 43%. That number has to change. No matter who's in office, that number stays the same or it gets worse. When I become the governor, I have a plan to reduce killings in Chicago by at least 50%. Wow. And the reason I say this is because I plan to set up a non-traditional program by organizing black men in our community on a higher level and addressing our own issues. Nobody running for governor can do that. See, I'm not against the police, but the police are in response mode. They've been trained to come after the fact. And I put numbers to everything. The homicide clearance rate in Chicago is only 28%, which means that people getting away with murder 72% of the time. The police have not been trained to stop killings on the front end. That's something black men have to do. And I'm just going to get down to the nitty-gritty with you. I'm a former director of Ceasefire Illinois, and I have a proven track record in reducing killings. I'm one of the only people you can call in the state of Illinois and nationwide right now that can actually stop a killing on the front end. And I'm not saying that to sound, like better than nobody else. When I get calls from young people today, they're about to kill my son, they're about to kill my brother, and it's not always televised. I go in, I mediate the conflict, and we save a life on the front end. I just received a call from a grandmother on the west side about a year ago. A guy shot through a window. They called me, they gave me the guy's name. I stopped by the place where the guy was at to talk to him. To the young guy's credit, he's like 21 years old. He told me he wasn't going to listen to nobody in the universe. He's going to take them guys' lives. But I went back and I did some research on the young brother, and I got some guys he would listen to, and we got him to give us his gun, and apologized to that grandmother, and he decided not to take her 2 grandsons' life on the front end. Now that's just one story. I have several stories, but I don't want to sidetrack. But I'm one of them guys that can really help reduce killings in Chicago. Okay, and that's part of our platform for women's rights. Right now, under the current leadership of the governors we've had in the past, it's been exposed that women still don't make the same amount of money men make, and they're doing the same job. We need to change that as soon as I become a governor. That goes for white women, black women, Hispanic women, Asian women, all women. That's not right. The way that people are treating women in society today, so we're going to change that narrative.
Let me ask you a question. Why don't we hear more about you in the media and some of those avenues like we hear about other people running for governor?
Well, when you got big money politics, like I said, they have the money to go out there. We have money, we have enough money to make the ballot. We're going to raise more money to get our message out. As soon as we make the ballot, I turn all my petitions in on November 27th. We have about 10,000 signatures. Once we make the ballot, we're going to take the gloves off and take care of our business. So we're going to, people know me statewide. I have the same presence, the same statewide recognitions as all these billionaires. And remember, I ran for governor before. I'm running again. I got 30% of the state vote in 2014. So this is my second rodeo, and we're going to just do what we have to do to get the message out to everybody. Because I have people supporting us in Decatur, East St. Louis, Champaign-Urbana. My running mate's from Champaign-Urbana. Her name is Patricia Avery. She's a former director of the NAACP, a former Champaign County commissioner. So she has a big name down in southern and central Illinois. So we hit the ground running in Cook County, Chicago, Lake County. I have people working on my staff. We have about 1,000 volunteers. So now the thing is, I plan to implement the rope-a-dope strategy in this race. When Ali, he stood on the ropes against George Foreman, and once George Foreman got tired out, Ali came off the ropes and knocked him out. That's what I plan to do with these billionaires. We're going to win this race. We're going all the way. None of these billionaires, they might have the money, but they don't have the fortitude that I have. They don't have the type of business ethic that Tio Hardiman has. Not at all.
My last question, I'm going to turn it over to Red for a minute. I work in the school system, and one of the things that I would like to see happen in the city and in the state is the school system change. Security for some of the schools. Some schools need more security.
Some of the teachers need some backup. Walking in some classrooms is like walking into a jungle. And for me, it's hard because, you know, we come to educate, but we're not their parents. And it's only a certain limit, it's only a certain amount of things that we can do in the school system without the backing of the state and things like that. What would you do if elected, when elected, to improve situations in the school? Because I think some of that comes back to why we have the kids out here being so violent. They don't have anything. A lot of programs have been taken out. I grew up with music in schools. A lot of music programs have been taken out. A lot of art programs have been taken out of the schools. So what would you do personally to try to rebuild the relationships in the schools?
Well, you know, schools is very important. A lot of times there's two conversations when it comes to schools. I've done an extensive amount of work in schools throughout my career, but it all goes back to organizing the black community on a higher level. We're not going to see no major changes until African American people unify. We need to unify or die. Not just because I'm running for governor. I'm saying this because it's a reality. If the young brothers, the young sisters, the middle-aged brothers and sisters, and the older brothers and sisters were to connect, we can oversee everything in our community. We can make sure the schools are safe. We can make sure that we have an economic base in our communities. For example, I'm running for governor. I'll put a hypothetical out there. You got all these billionaires coming out here trying to pay this guy $50,000 to work with him, pay this guy $100,000. If anybody was to rally with Tio Hardiman, the billionaires would have to give us $1 billion. Let's stop playing games. They would have to give us $1 billion for the African American community, and then we distribute the wealth to all of our people. We continue to do solo projects. That's why we're hurting out here. Black death is a hustle. The black vote is a hustle. People need to understand this. Nobody's going to talk to you this way. I'm not trying to be politically correct here. The thing is, let me explain. Black death is a hustle. In the city of Chicago, over the last 20 years, there's been over 450 to 800 homicides every year. Every year, everybody's in front of the camera talking about what they're going to do to stop the violence. The police have $1 billion budget. A lot of these programs get millions of dollars to stop the killing, okay? But every year, you still have more killings. Black death is a hustle. We represent 15% of the population in Illinois, but we represent 65% of the prison population. We as a people have to unify in order to make changes in the schools, in order to make changes in our community. It doesn't make no sense, and let me be clear on this. How is it that we become more consumers than producers in our own community? We should own all the gas stations, all the fast food restaurants, all the real estate in our community. Nobody's talking about this. We lost 36,000 African American people moved out of Chicago in 2016. Over the last 15 years, 180,000 African American people moved out of Chicago. We used to be the #1 minority in Chicago, now we're #2. We got problems in Black America, bro. We got problems. That's why my run for governor is a wake-up call for the entire nation. Because nobody's gonna talk. I'm not trying to be like Barack Obama. None of that kind of stuff. I come out the project. I have a master's degree in inner city studies. I put a lot of work in. I'm academic, professional, and all that stuff. But I want to represent the young brothers and sisters and give them some type of hope, some real hope that they can see in their lifetime, opposed to steady looking at the problems. The only solution to solving problems in the Black community is only one solution: Black unity. One solution, Black unity. You're not going to solve it no way, because everybody's going to come with a pet program, a pet project. The police going to say they need more money for overtime. They're going to continue to say this for the next 20 years. If Black people do not do it, if you go, no, I'll turn it over to you in a minute, I get hyped up.
No, you're right.
If you go back to the slave plantation,
You got as much time as you want.
All right.
people on the plantation had to unify in order to come out those conditions. It wasn't right, but our people had to unify and stay strong as possible in order to overcome and defeat slavery. Conditions. It takes 2 months to lay on your back coming from the West Africa coast through the Atlantic Ocean to America. And the strongest of our people had to lay on their back, get off them slave ships, then be put on display for sale and all that kind of stuff. And they still stood their ground. It wasn't, it took centuries. But we took care of the business. Our ancestors took care of the business. That's the reason why we're here today. So I'm running for governor as a different type of individual. I'm a community organizer, community leader, visionary, all that stuff. A lot of the African American politicians, when I announced I was running for governor, they looked at me like I had escaped off a slave plantation. They did, I promise you. I talk to them all the time like I did something wrong. What's wrong with me running for governor? But you know me, but you don't know these billionaires. You just know they got money. So they come drop the money bag off, but our numbers only get worse in Chicago.
That's the only time we
They only get worse. I'm just being honest with you on this show here, so you get a real serious interview from me. That's the bottom line.
I appreciate your honesty. You spoke about, brother, you asked the question about the school system. I'm real, focused on the homeless issue here in the city. So what is your plans as far as that?
Well, we got to support the homeless program to the best of our ability. You have 1.7 million people in Illinois living in poverty right now. So these are real numbers. You can look them up. So what we have to do is address the homelessness issue. Only thing we can do, let me just back up a minute. I support the progressive tax, which has been proven to bring in another $2 billion of new revenue in the state of Illinois, and that can help fund some homeless shelters, and that's all you can really do as far as the homeless. But it all comes back down to me, to unity within. Look at South Shore community for a minute. East side, look at the west side, and look at the south side. Inglewood, high levels of violence, high unemployment. Right now, unemployment is 43% for African American men, young men between the ages of 20 and 24, okay? Homelessness needs to be dealt with, but we got a whole lot of issues we have to address in our community, okay? But I do have a 2020 plan which represents a perfect vision for the people of Illinois. Because when you talk about homelessness, it's not just Black people.
No.
We got white homeless people, Asian, Hispanic homeless people. Right. So we got to think about the overall picture of homelessness.
Exactly.
And we have the veterans, without a doubt. So I have a plan to address that, to reopen some of these homeless shelters to take people in.
Are some of these abandoned houses that's just boarded up and sitting there?
But that's some work we have to do in the community once again. I mean, I'm telling you, we losing ground. Yeah, I'm just saying we losing ground as African American people, because the people that are running for office, they're not going to put them numbers out there and tell you the truth like this. Okay, they're not going to tell you the truth about it. We, as a people, and I'm going to say it repeatedly because the only way I see it's going to work, we must unify. There needs to be a big council in the African American community that deals with all issues. So when politicians come to the Black community, they have to go through a council that represents the entire community. Okay? When they come talking about they want to do this and that, when they talk about open up a business in the black community, they have to come to a council that represents the entire community. We got to stop playing politics with our resources in the black community. We have enough resources to take care of our business, it's just we too divided. We too divided. Sincerely. Nobody gonna talk like this. We are too divided. When the Mayor Emanuel covered up the murder of the Kwame McDonald, just give you a good example. He covered up the murder of the Kwame McDonald. This young guy was shot 16 times. And the mayor knew about it. A lot of black aldermen knew about it. A lot of black preachers knew about it. But instead of them speaking up, what they did, they stood by Mayor Emanuel. You know why they did it? Because we got an issue when some of our own people do something that wasn't necessarily right. But when other people do it, we got this forgiveness attitude in our hearts.
I'm glad
I
you
agree. I'm glad you brought that up because I was just about to ask you about the Kanika Martin. What were your views on that?
I don't have a lot of views on Kanika Martin because I did stop at a hotel one day and took a knee in memory of Kanika. You know, in the memory, I just can't comment on because I don't know what happened to her. I do know her family and everybody, but I do think whatever happened to her, hopefully it'll come out. I'm not sure. I don't really have all the details about Kanika.
I want to talk to you about another situation that happened about a year ago, and I know that you were on the scene. Mount Greenwood shooting. Tiffany Washington Boxley. For those of you that don't know what the situation was, there was a funeral that happened. They were leaving the funeral procession. On the way back, they were cut off by an off-duty police officer and fireman, if I'm correct. And a young life was taken that day by an off-duty cop. It was on the news. It was on WorldStar. It was on WorldStarHipHop.com. What were your thoughts on that particular case?
Well, I was one of the brothers. Once again, I was in Mount Greenwood rallying against what happened out there. But after I did my own research, I call a spade. The young guy that was killed, people may not want to hear this, but he had a gun pointed at the officers himself for whatever reason. I'm not saying he should have got killed, but every situation of police brutality, you got to dissect them situations. Now, you got to understand this because I want people to be pretty clear, because I deal with numbers. In Chicago, over the last 15 years, there's been 10,200 police complaints that were pretty much turned into the IPA, the Independent Police Review Authority, and only 1% of them 10,000 cases actually went to court. What does it? No, these are numbers you can back up. That goes to show you there's a preponderance of evidence that dictates that the police department in Chicago is the most corrupt police department in the nation. This was backed up by the Department of Justice, so we don't need to keep playing games. When Donald Trump became president, he just threw that investigation to the side. So we got problems. The thing is, black politicians, they knew about this 30 years ago. They knew about this elephant in the room with CPD. See, they've been killing brothers forever. And what it is, people don't want to talk about it because they got comfortable in their positions. See, as governor, what I plan to do is walk the streets like I do today. And really corral and support them young brothers and sisters on the streets. I want to bring them brothers with me. And I'm not just saying this to be a political speech. I want to get them brothers off the corners, have them work in my administration and the sisters so we can turn this thing around for the people. And it can be done. It can be done without a doubt.
Let me ask you this. We're speaking about the police system and how corrupt we know the police system is in Chicago. Let's talk about the penal system. Because I'm pretty sure everybody in this room has been affected by someone that they know, a family member, a very close friend, that has been caught in the penal system. Let's talk about the disadvantage that blacks or minorities have with the penal system as opposed to our Caucasian brothers and sisters. Let's talk about, what is your thoughts on the penal system?
Well, you know, in the country of America, we incarcerate more people than any country in the world, 2.1 million people. The black community also needs to understand there's a direct assault on the black community with dope. See, dope was placed in our community for a diabolical purpose, whether we want to accept it or not. When our ancestors fought for our freedom all the way back to the Black Power days and everything they did to dismantle the Black Panther Party for self-defense, they put pure dope, and first it was heroin, then it became crack cocaine. All that stuff was placed in our community for a diabolical purpose to divide and conquer our people. So the war on drugs is a failed war on drugs that we have to continue to fight. But where we're making a mistake at, once again, we keep coming to a system that we think is going to help us, and it's not going to help us. Now, another thing nobody wants to talk about, I'm going to just cut through the chase. You got some brothers in the black community that don't give nothing, no care about the black community. You got some people out here, man, that will shoot you and think less about it the very next day. Those brothers have to be dealt with a certain way. I'm not gonna take up for people when they wrong. You got murderers out here that will kill your mama, your cousin, your babies, and just don't care. Look at what happened to Tyshawn Lee. This little 9-year-old was executed. This happens time and time again because, okay, let's give you a better example. When the police shoot somebody, they got Black Friday going on downtown. You know, the Kwame McDonald's killed, you got 30,000, 40,000 people organizing. When black folks kill each other, why don't we organize on the same level? When they kill a brother in the neighborhood, why don't we step up 40,000 strong? And better yet, let's not wait for them to kill somebody. Let's do it before they kill somebody. Imagine 50,000 black African American, I'll put it like that, brothers and sisters, some guerrilla brothers, some intellectual brothers, some professional brothers and sisters, and we go to the community and we talk to the brothers out there. And we need their relatives with us too. Because some of them young guys, they're not gonna just listen to you just because you come over there. So we need to come up with a different plan. We can reduce killings in our community by 70% if we mobilize 50,000 strong and take our issues directly to the brothers involved in the conflict zone. Because most of the violence is not always gang related. You got a lot of interpersonal conflict, revenge. I don't like you. You looked at my girl. I lost money in the dice game. Let's stick him up. You know, he from over there. It used to be big gangs in Chicago. A lot of this stuff is all over the place. You can't just put a gang label on it.
It's even the structure of the gangs.
Well, some people got mental health issues too.
Yeah, that's
You got mental health issues. You got knuckleheads out here that shooting just to shoot.
Yeah.
When you got guys shooting just to shoot, you got to deal with them a certain way. Seriously, you got to deal with them. People may not want to hear this, but it's the God honest truth. You got to deal with them. All the people have family members. I've seen some of the toughest guys, they go to their family house on Thanksgiving and blend in like everything okay. The reality is that the family got to let the shooters know, you're not going to be a part of our family anymore if you keep doing this crazy stuff. You know, you're not going to be a part of what we're about, okay? So we understand self-defense. I support concealed carry. I want to make that clear. Because there's no data to back up the fact that legal gun owners are part of the violence problem. The only time legal gun owners are part of the problem is when there's a massacre somewhere in another city or town. Okay? The legal gun trade has to be dealt with. And the ATF have to do a better job of intercepting illegal guns.
Okay. All right. So, I want to ask this question. What are you doing different with this campaign that you did with the first?
Well, what I'm doing different with this campaign is that, you know, I have a strong running mate, Patricia Avery from Champaign, Urbana. She has like 1,000 relatives in central and southern Illinois, and we're just gonna hit the ground running. I plan to print out 500,000 pieces of public education information and just go take it directly to the voters. I'm taking all my information directly to the voters. I have a lot of energy, a lot of like fortitude, you know, like, and God gave me the message to go talk to the voters at all the shopping malls, talk to the voters in all the communities. You have over 109 counties in Illinois. I've already visited about 35% of them. I plan to visit more counties and take my message directly to the people. I've already spoken at around 40 churches since I announced I was running, so we're doing the best we can do.
I got two of them with it.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask this question,
Yeah.
and I can't be lying on you because we're friends.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so although you got the numbers correct, and most of the former governors, they had theirs correct as well.
Right.
And we were all sold. You understand what I'm saying? They actually, we were sold with what they were telling us,
Yes.
but they turned out, like you said, all three of them went to jail.
Yes.
So what is it that you're actually, although you got the figures, and for a lot of people that's gonna vote, I'm gonna be honest, like you said, you like to be honest. A lot of your votes are gonna come because you're black. A lot
From the black community.
from the black community, I wanna be honest. A lot of young people are not really interested in what the government actually, what changes you actually make. So a lot of people are just gonna vote because you're a black man. I want you to actually tell me and the rest of the world, what really sets you aside from those other three governors?
Okay. What sets me aside from the other three governors or whoever else is running, yeah, I'm a black man. I've done a host of work in my community for the last 20, I have a 25-year legacy of doing good work in our community, okay? I plan to make politics normal again because these big money politicians are drowning out the voices of the working class and poor people. What I would like to see happen is make necessary changes. When it comes to corruption, I plan to videotape all my meetings with special interest groups. So they talk about what you say in that meeting, go pick up volume number 1 or number 2. So that leaves no margin for error that way. You see, we gotta stop thinking about, see, I don't wanna get too caught up in the race thing, but I'm gonna just say this. It's not the position of white men to always be the governor of the state of Illinois.
Not at all.
What makes me different, I'm a black man, that doesn't mean everybody black gonna vote for me. Make no mistakes, you got plantation politics going on, you got a lot of black elected officials, they're gonna try to support other candidates. That's what they're doing now. So the reality is I gotta go out and hustle all of my votes. And I don't use the word hustle in the wrong context, but you know what I mean. I gotta go out there and talk to people, I gotta go out there and meet and reach the voters. So the reality of it, I'm not really, I'm totally different from everybody. I'm not a billionaire.
Okay.
I'm a young man from the community, paid my dues. Unlike a lot of these billionaires, they don't know what it means to buy a loaf of bread, or they don't even know the cost of a gallon of milk. They don't know what it means to buy a Peter to pay Paul. None of that kind of stuff. They never experienced that. So how they gonna represent the black community for real? What they're gonna do is pay some black folks to say they represent the black community, but the numbers that we're dealing with are gonna get deeper and deeper into debt in our community. Look at the communities. I know this young brother got a question, but look at South Shore. You don't even have a grocery store over there. You don't have a grocery store in the South Shore community. West Garfield, Pulaski and Madison, dilapidated buildings everywhere. Harvey, they're overtaxing people and oversessing people's houses. Harvey, Dixmoor, Calumet City, Calumet Park, Riverdale, Dalton, they are overtaxing people's houses, so people lose their houses, and nobody's gonna talk about that like me. I have all the numbers on that. That's what makes me different, because you're not gonna have a governor. You're gonna have a governor that's gonna come to Chicago. As soon as I become the governor, I'm gonna call a meeting with all them young shooters out there and ask them to come meet with me and let's try to work on stopping these killings. And I'm serious. I'm gonna call a meeting with all the young brothers, and I'm gonna have the meeting secluded, no media or nothing. And I'm gonna go in there just like the man I am, and I ain't gonna talk the regular English I'm talking now. I'm gonna get out to the brothers and try to stop this killing.
In their language.
Nobody else can do that. They can't do it. I'm telling you now.
I want to know if anybody in the room has a question. Any room
I have
question?
a couple of questions. My first question is, everybody is aware of the situation with the Kanika Jenkins situation.
Yes.
And as governor of Illinois, you know what I'm saying, being in that situation, I feel like that a lot of our leaders have become weak, or they have sold out for the dollar.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Once they have gotten off, they didn't stay true to themselves. So as governor with that situation, because that mother has a cry for help, and that is a mother. You know what I'm saying? And that is a child, regardless of what the situation was. That's somebody's child, and that's a mother, and she was murdered. So what would you do? I don't see Corey Brooks out there. I don't see Reverend Meeks out there. I don't see Farrakhan out there. I don't see these leaders out there. What would you do if you was in office as the governor, as a black leader, you know what I'm saying, today, in that situation?
Well, first of all, Kanika Jenkins, I went out there one day, I got pictures to back that up. I went out there, but I didn't get involved in the circus that was out there. I saw a lot of younger people out there, and I support the movement, I've been supporting it all my life. But what happened, I saw people exploiting her mother.
Yes.
And I didn't like that.
Yeah.
And as a man, I looked at it for what it's worth, and I was waiting for some more facts to come out. Because, you know, and people may not want to hear this, but I ain't gonna never fake with you, young brother. This is the thing. They rallied out there at the hotel. If Kanika was murdered, why won't they rally against her friends and the people that she was with that might have murdered her? I don't know if she was murdered by friends or somebody in the hotel, I don't know. But why won't we address our own people? See, it's easy for us to go out to the hotel and rally day by day. And I support my people, don't get me wrong. But if they know that girl was killed, why won't they take it to the front door of the people that killed her? Why won't they do that? You know why they're not gonna do it? Because there's consequences to that. You know, organizing around the hotel, the police will come, you know, you do what you gotta do, you got the right to peacefully assemble. But when you address it, violence for real, see, my life has been threatened 4 or 5 times when I try to stop killings, okay? Because I don't want to just tell y'all good stuff. When you trying to stop killings out here, it's not for the faint of heart, you know that. Some of your guys don't want to hear it. I had a guy told me to put me to sleep. But I saved a life anyway. I dealt with it because, you know, it is what it is, right? But to answer your question, as governor, I would do more investigation with the state. I would have the state police come in and investigate what happened to her, opposed to the Rosemont police. Because obviously something is missing out there. Because it's hard to imagine her walking into a freezer and then all of a sudden her friends did not stay, you know, keep in contact with her, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of stories out there. Somebody saying a guy was walking with her on his shoulder, and there's some other story that she walked down into the freezer. So I would have the state police and even FBI to find out what happened to Kanika. And if the truth comes out that she was murdered by one of her friends, that's where the community activists need to go. They need to go to all her friends' houses and stand out there for 40 days and 40 nights.
Why is it in our community? Why is it in our community that we are so afraid of exposing certain things, and we know what's going on. We know this person over here did the shooting, and we know, we refuse to acknowledge some of the things that are going on in our neighborhood, and we just take a blind eye to some things. Why is that?
You know, that's a non-behavior. You know, don't sit joking about it. I come up with the projects. I've seen, I ain't gonna go too deep into it. I've been around, just put it like that. I'm not the guy you're gonna scare too easy. Just put it like that, okay? But this is what I'm saying is this. Hear me clearly. That's a code of silence that exists in the police department, a code of silence that exists on the streets. The reason people are scared to talk, because Tupac said it better than I can say it. Tupac said a lot of guys live next to the murderers. They live next to the shooters and everything. They're just as scared as people that don't live in our community. You know, people need to do what they need to do, but I can't judge people why they don't do this or that, because you telling people to say this or say that, but the system is not backing that up. I already talked about it. You got a 28% homicide clearance rate, and when you live next door to these shooters out there, they're not going to think twice before they blow your brains out. They're not going to think twice about it, because they think too much about it, they may change their mind. Our job is to make them think about it. That's been going on for the last 40 years. Last 40 years, and then police corruption has been going on for the last 100 years. And there's a book I want everybody to read called Mean Streets. It chronicles the 1919 race riots in Chicago and how Irish people were killing black folks for the stockyard jobs when our ancestors migrated from the south to the north. Now, what happened after the riot, it's not all Irish people, just some of them. So the same Irish gangs, this is what they did. After the riot, all that publicity was taking place. The Irish people then became the police officers, the judges, and the prosecutors. So they weren't killing us on the street, they were killing us in the system now. See, nobody wants to talk about these issues. These are things that are buried out there. And nobody wants to bring it up because they're scared to talk about it. You can't run for governor and speak like I speak if you're afraid something gonna happen to you.
Exactly.
That's my least concern, seriously. I'm not trying to be no tough Tony, but that's my least concern.
You can't speak for yourself.
Yes, it is.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Was you afraid? Because in the past, we know that some our leaders have been attacked,
Yeah.
blacks have been threatened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they push for righteousness. And that was one of my next questions. Was you afraid of the government to fight against the corruption of the government? You know what I'm saying? And the politics in Chicago.
Now, I want to be seen as the bully buster, Jack, to be honest with you. I'm just serious, because I already know they're going to, for example, let's just speak it. When I become the governor, they're going to try to come at me with everything in the world. But I'm a straight up brother, though, seriously. Before I'm anything else, I come from the neighborhood. And the neighborhood equipped me with a certain backbone, okay? It's against my constitution, seriously, to fold and bend down in situations. You know, they got to come correct. When they can't come correct, then they might try other stuff, but I'm ready for that, seriously. That's my least concern.
One last question.
Yeah.
What would you do to help? I know that we can beat the system through economics.
Yeah.
So if we take our money out their banks and we had our own banks, because they overtaxing us and over percentaging us on the money.
Yeah.
So what would you do as governor to help build the financial in our community, the financial wealth in our community?
But that's what I'm talking about now. See, first and foremost, I'm going to slow it down a little bit. We have to organize a council in our community. We need to, just like governments organizes, they organize interior people, you know, to deal with finances. We need people on the council to deal with the finances, people to deal with youth development. I'm talking about a new committee. I'm not talking about some of these people that's been around. We need to organize on a higher level and appoint people in positions that deal with everything you're talking about. Because it has to happen now. We can't keep waiting on it. We have enough resources. If we just come together and trust one another and get rid of them isms and schisms, I call them, and stop being paranoid, because, you know, we got issues in the black community. So it's going to take, and I don't want nobody to take this the wrong way. Right now, in my mind anyway, the black community needs a general. Seriously, I'm just speaking for me. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm saying to see the young girl, they know what I'm talking about. The black community needs a general where everything goes through the general, but the general has to listen to the council too. But everything goes in, he's that person. So any money that comes out to me, for example, the billionaires are running for office. If they want the black vote, $1 billion has to come to the community through the general. And that general distributes the wealth. It's not about no individuality, okay? Anything in our community, anybody wants to open up a business in our community, they can't open it up in our community unless they go through the council. So that's the way you deal with that, and therefore we can get a handle on our finances. Because we spend a lot of money on gas. You got people now, we spend a lot of money on chicken. I'm not saying this to be funny, but we spend a lot of money on chicken. And we need to own every chicken restaurant in our community. Seriously though, it might sound elementary, but chicken makes billions of dollars.
Yes,
Why don't
it
we own all those restaurants? Every liquor store in our community, we need to own every liquor store in our community. The brothers selling dope, they don't need to be selling dope. They need to be opening up a liquor store in their neighborhood. They say they run the neighborhood, right? But what they doing, they run the side of the liquor store politics. They out there selling loose cigarettes on the side of somebody else's liquor store. And these people in our community making millions and billions of dollars. You got some people that have made billions of dollars with liquor stores in the black community over the last 20 years. How did we go from consumers to be, from producers to being consumers? That's the history we need to talk about.
We got a question?
Okay.
We got a question?
Pardon my voice, but I wanted to find out, is there any programs on the table to help support black-owned businesses or help start up black-owned
Yeah,
businesses?
you got the Black Chamber of Commerce, they are headquarters in Peoria. You got people doing it, but they still crying about resources. See, we keep giving our vote to other people and they promise us resources, like
Yes.
you said. But see, this is the thing. When it comes to resources, power does not concede to nothing but a stronger power. If the black community were to unify seriously around my election, no matter how they feel about me, you got a brother that's going to talk to them people and say, look here, I need $1 billion for the African American community. And I have a plan for that $1 billion. I don't want you to just give it to me like I'm begging you for it. You want the black vote, give us $1 billion, we're going to take care of the business. That's how you really remedy those issues. Because I'm telling you based on facts. Right now, you got African American contractors. This is factual. They've been fighting for their fair share of construction contracts, and we still only receive 3% of the contracts. And this is proven, this is in the data. So something is wrong because we still got African American people that go get something for themselves, but they don't think about nobody else. We got to stop that. What I'm trying to push is collective economics. That's what I'm trying to push. And if people will really listen to what I'm talking about and we move on it, we cannot lose. We will be a powerhouse. We will be a straight powerhouse. People knock Michael Jordan's time, but Michael Jordan is a powerhouse. I wish he was a powerhouse for the entire community, don't get me wrong, but this man is an institution now. We need to have a black institution that deals with all of our issues. There's like an institution, a big old university institution right in the heart of Inglewood or in the heart of the Austin community or North Lawndale. We have an institution where everything that goes to the black community goes to that institution. Everything. This would blow everybody's mind because now some of them sellout pastors can't just go and speak for our people no more. And they get benefits and everybody else continue to lose. That's over with. You got to come to this council or you're not going to be representing our community. Seriously, period. People may not want to hear this, but you got to get this way in order to get it right. You got to become strong like this to get it right. It's going to take some backdoor type of cussing out sessions. Some people have to be talked to a certain way, but we got to be for real. You can't play with it because there's a dividing line between entertainment and real life. This ain't about no entertainment here. This is not about getting more views on Facebook, trying to be popular. This is about raising the next generation of young African American men and women and making sure they're straight.
We have any other questions? Any other questions?
Back here, yeah.
What about mental health and funding for schools?
Yeah. Mental health services, we plan to reopen a lot of these clinics that Bruce Browner and his buddy Ronnie Emanuel shut down. It's real simple, really. The business transaction tax, we're going to use that money to reopen the mental health clinics. It's a House bill right now, House Bill 453, and they can bring in $3 billion of new revenue in the state. And then when it comes down to mental health, and what's the other part?
Education.
Well, education, right now the schools are being funded from property taxes. We need to move that funding into the progressive tax and the business transaction tax. And the progressive tax is about taxing people according to their income status. These wealthy people are not paying their fair share of taxes, okay? And we'll use that $5 billion of new revenue we can use to fund the schools on a higher level. Because when you talk about the schools, we have to fund schools statewide, not just Chicago. In Chicago, what's really sad about the psychology of Chicago public schools is that students have to worry every year if the school's gonna open up on time. That's what you call they playing gangster politics with poor and working class people. Now you gotta understand, every debate I go to, you can look it up, I'm on the stage with all these people running for governor, and I talk this same way, and they don't know how to deal with me. They don't. Because I'm not faking and shaking with you. I'm not trying to make you smile and nothing's funny. My people are losing. I don't want, you know what, I want to win one term as governor. I don't want to do 2 terms, just 1 term. Make history, become the first black governor of the state of Illinois and then pass the torch to somebody else. I don't want to end up in a situation where, like some of these politicians have been around forever. I don't want to end up in that situation. I'm just being honest with you. Make our mark, rebuild our community. Now, if I can reduce killing by 56%, that'd be a major accomplishment for Tio Hardiman. And the people seriously. Yes. Yes.
My question, are you able to do the same thing even if you weren't governor?
Well, the thing is, it's about resources. See, now, you got to understand, I'm going to go a little deep with you. Right now, you talking about reducing the killing?
Right, and just all
Everybody has a pet project in the black community. And mainly, I don't want to get in this race thing, but you can look this stuff up. You got all these white scholars. You got David Kelly, this guy out of New York, he has the broken window theory. His theory is lock people up for lower level crimes and that'll stop them from committing higher level crimes. That theory is not holding up. You got the David Kennedy model. This is a model they call it the call-in model. They call everybody in, and they cuss them out. Police let them know if they watch them. If you break the law, this is what's going to happen to you. That theory is not holding up. Then, I used to run ceasefire, and I kind of differ with the actual mindset of it now. They say violence spreads as an infectious disease. I understand that to a degree, but poverty plays a strong role in violence. Poverty plays a role, and how you grow up plays a role. I grew up in the projects, and I don't want to say this to the Avalon Park community. I remember when I was 16 years old, I'll never forget this. We used to play on the front porch of the projects, and if you couldn't fight, you couldn't even come out your house. We fought though. We didn't go to no gunplay. Gunplay came in late home. So you was okay, you were accepted in your community, but the thing is this. I can still stop the killing in our city, but we need the resources to do so. So what I'm talking about is we got to organize the black community around my election so we can get the resources to stop the killing. But I don't want to beg nobody for nothing. I ain't saying it to be proud or nothing like that. We have enough resources. For example, if we would just donate $1 to a fund, we would have to name the fund. We would name it. We have to come together and name it $1 times 20 million of our people, whatever. We can raise the money and take over our own community. And I mean this with everything I said, governor or not. What that would represent, that nobody, not one person, can come to our community and do nothing. Nothing. Seriously. I get all those young brothers on board with us. Everybody will have the vanguard of everything. And I'm just being straight up with you. Because I would love to be able to do that, because think about it in the news, if you got Chicago, but I've been to Boston, for example. The mayor of Boston has a program in Boston named Mayor Walsh. They've only had 30 homicides in Boston for the last 2 or 3 years. Boston used to have a lot of murders. And back in 1994, not one 17-year-old was killed in Boston by gun violence, because they took to the streets to really address the issues as a community. Chicago is kind of hard because the violence is all over the place, and nobody wants to talk about the dope trade. See, it's people that don't look like us that's pushing the dope in our community.
Exactly.
Okay? It's people that don't look like us that's pushing the guns in our community. So another monster is going to show its face when we really address these issues. Because remember, black death is a hustle. People are benefiting our black death. If young brothers were not breaking the law, the criminal justice system would go bankrupt. Let me just give you another picture, and I don't want y'all to talk. Take all the dope out of our community for a minute. Just take it away. Take the illegal guns out of the community. What would be the real need for the police to be in our community like they are then?
No.
It's a setup. Our people need to understand this is a big-time setup. If you don't address, Malcolm X talked about this in his day. This is nothing new I'm talking about. Fred Hampton talked about it. Mark Clark talked about it. Huey P. Newton talked about it, okay? So it's nothing new, it's just we haven't dealt with it. We haven't dealt with it this way. If we want to unify all brothers, all sisters, we are one. Bottom line, that stops the killing, that gets the funding for all programs. Everybody can eat instead of individuals eat. Everybody can eat.
We have another question coming.
Yeah.
It's back to funding of the school.
Yes.
So as you stated, that it's across the board in the
Yes.
state. So how can you distribute the funds equally? There's no way a school in Oak Park, Naperville, things like that should be getting more money than the city school.
But it's really based on the number of students that attend the schools, okay? It's based on the number. See, Ron Nathaniel, what he did, he concocted this big misperception that a lot of these schools were not a lot of attendance when he closed the schools down. But see, right now, Chicago Public Schools takes a big chunk of the money, something like $4.7 billion to fund the schools properly in Chicago. A lot of the money comes from the lottery, like $697 million came from the lottery fund. And then the rest of the money comes from the general fund, now it's property tax. The thing is, you get the money out the progressive tax and the business transaction tax, along with the lottery, then you can have more than enough money to fund the schools. Okay? I understand what you're saying, because Oak Park, Evanston, downstate schools, but we have a lot of problems with that. But that's the formula, the funding schools on a higher level. Okay? All right.
Okay, so I'm speaking into this, so when you become the next governor,
Yeah.
what is one of the first major things that you're actually gonna apply?
Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is sign the minimum wage bill for $15 an hour. And I'm gonna make sure I'm finding out that women doing the same job men doing, make sure they get paid the same pay. Those are some of the first things we're gonna do. And then I'm gonna hire people working in my administration that represents our community. All communities, you know, everybody. But the thing is, I'm concerned about my people, sincerely.
I got a question. You know, we spoke earlier about how the youth is so disconnected from knowing what politics is. If you were to explain to someone in layman's terms, what is the role of the governor?
But the governor passes laws in the state of Illinois. He makes the state of Illinois function. You know, he has to oversee the budget. We got a $60 billion budget. The government has to deal with policy, the state police, and everything that goes along with making the state of Illinois move forward, okay? The governor's responsibility also is to attract corporations to move to Illinois. The governor has a task upon his hand to work with the General Assembly on all levels and enact, you know, policies and laws here for the state. That's what it's really about. And what we've been getting lately is that, see, you gotta understand this too. White men are not gonna give up the power. They're not gonna give up the power. That's the reason why it's hard for an African-American person to win that seat, because they go out and they go get running mates, you know, from the black community and all that kind of stuff, and they look like they really care. But what's gonna happen, they still gonna be in charge of $60 billion in resources. So you gotta see, like, for example, like as a governor, let's say I put aside $50 million for capital construction projects in central and southern Illinois. Who those contracts gonna go to? See, the governor he controls a lot of that, everything. The budget, make sure the laws are passed, and make sure the state is okay. Fiscally okay. What Bruce Brown was doing, he came to Chicago and put $1 million in a black-owned bank to pacify black folks. Okay? Bruce Brown was a billionaire. He could have put $1 billion in a black-owned bank. Okay? Instead of trying to play games with our people. $1 million is no money. Okay, J.B. Pritzker's a billionaire. He's going around hiring a lot of Romney Manuals, sell-out people that work with Romney Manuals, that work with him. He never made no comments about Laquan McDonald and Romney Manuel, but instead he's talking about standing up to Donald Trump. So the reality is that it's time for a new flavor in the governor's mansion. I want to be seen as kind of like the hip-hop governor along with everything else. I don't want to just be seen as nobody else. I want to be part hip-hop, intellectual, professional, community activism, financially responsible governor, okay, to move the state forward. You see, because I don't want to be put in no box. I don't want to be seen nothing like no regular politician. That's not me.
You got a question?
Yeah, my question, since you touched on the education system.
Yeah.
One thing I know is reformed education is something that is kind of like fed our kids, you know, push them on to next levels when they were not prepared for that next level. It's a system designed for us to fail. So my question to you is, are you pro the reformed education system? Or you have any plans to like tweak that a little bit to kind of give the teachers a little more assistance as opposed to being ran from Springfield? And now we're dealing with the criteria based on us from Springfield, and they're not in the communities and knowing, you know, different things these kids need.
Yeah, I'm definitely pro-reform because the teachers know best. We got to support our teachers on every level because I worked in schools for a long time myself, and I understand. I had programs in schools. I know some of the issues in the schools. So we got to really promote some of them teachers and not do it politically. Go and find a real strong teacher in one of these schools that are passing her students however she's doing it and find out what she wants to do. Take her input in, okay? Because the teachers, one of the biggest misperceptions of teachers, their role is not to discipline kids. Their role is to teach. And they can't even teach when you got 2 or 3 students in the class that got some other issues. Yeah. I mean, I've been there, I've done it, I've seen it, you know. So my thing is reform is important because some students lose out because you got a few students that mess it up for everybody. Sincerely. I did a lot of work at Delano School on the west side, Hirsch High School on the south side, you know, just to name a few schools. So I've been around with that. So I'm definitely for reform, yes. Yes, we're welcome.
Another question?
How can we get some of these families counseling? Because, you know, dealing with their loss and different diseases and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, it wears out on the family and it causes a great deal of depression and anxiety. So what happens is we don't have the dollars to really go get counseling for families to get counseling because it starts within the home. So we can get the families back together, then we can get the community back together.
Yes, indeed.
So how can we do that?
No, that's unique because I'm the president of Violence and Brothers Incorporated, and I just added a mental health component to my program. In Springfield, Ohio, we have about 75 young men that would never go to counseling before. Now we have them in counseling to deal with some of the other issues. And you're right. I grew up in a dysfunctional family. I ain't gonna go too deep into it. I come up in the projects. I saw people shoot dope around me all my life. I've seen people get hurt. And I say this comically because I don't know if nobody better hear this. I grew up in a house where they had super rats in the house. And one day I looked in the front room. It looked like the rats was playing on the light switch, like swinging from the refrigerator to the top of the lights, from the light switch to the top of the refrigerator. I say this true story. And I needed some mental health crisis to deal with that. I did. Because I grew up, so what we did growing up, we desensitized ourselves towards the suffering of people. So the suffering and the tragedy became normal. And so sometimes you have to bring yourself back. You need counsel. You can't do it by yourself. Because I was raised up where, whatever go on, you just keep it inside and you it'll be all right. But I'm here to tell you, pressure busts a pipe.
All the time.
So dealing with family counseling, one thing I did with ceasefire too, I made sure that we conducted like 1,200 home visits with the young men and women we were working with to find out how the family was doing. And then if the family had other issues, we would refer them to counseling. But it's hard to get people to admit the fact they might have a mental health issue. So that's kind of hard. You got to work with people a certain way for that.
And a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, they have,
They don't even know that they have a mental health.
and it's genetic too.
Yeah.
A lot of people are getting it because it's in their genetics.
Yes, indeed. So it's an epidemic in the white community and the black and Hispanic community. People are struggling out here. People, and one of the biggest misperceptions, white people struggle just like black people. They may not struggle with high levels of the gun violence but they struggle with opiate crisis, drug addiction, mental health problems, and Hispanic people. So that's a problem that everybody's dealing with. But our community has been devastated. Devastated because we have, in my opinion, I don't want anybody to take everything I say to agree with me, we've been devastated by weak leadership. And a lot of our leaders have been killed or locked up. Weak leadership killing us, man. This is the thing, I want everybody to vote for me, don't get me wrong. But weak leadership is killing the black community. Because we need men that are going to stand up and not get caught up in this popularity. And just do what's right to move the nation forward. And that's what our ancestors did. They didn't have time to be worried about who's going to get credit for this or that. What we got to do is just make it happen and let the young people take care of their business. Seriously. One thing I love God for, I'm going to be straight up with you all. I put a lot of work in my life. I got 12 and 13-year-olds that come to me now and say, I've heard about you. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
12 and 13-year-olds say they heard about me. I know about all the other people. These are young white young people and black young people and Hispanic that heard about Tio Hardiman because I put work in. Now, one thing I want to say before I conclude, I know I'm talking. Legalizing marijuana, there's pros and cons of that. I know it sounds good to raise money, and we want to decriminalize marijuana. I agree with that. Decriminalize it, but you have to understand that marijuana is a gateway drug to some people using higher level drugs. They start out with alcohol, marijuana, and smoking, then they end up using cocaine, heroin. Not everybody, but it's a gateway drug. It's been proven in addiction studies that most people start out with marijuana and alcohol. Now they become full-fledged drug addicts. That's not cool. So we have to put some regulations on it, but I'm not against legalizing it, okay, and decriminalizing it. But we have to be careful when we do that.
All right.
Yeah, questions?
Any other questions? Well, I got a question. For the people, if you can give us 5 things that we can expect from you when you become governor.
Well, first of all, like I said, I want to reduce the killing, number 1, by 50% in Chicago. Number 2, the minimum wage is $15 an hour. Women's right, make sure the women get paid the same money that men are getting paid. They're doing the same job. Number 4, we want to balance the budget. And number 5, I want to make sure that the schools are funded properly. And I'm not just saying that we want to stop messing with people's pensions and all that stuff. But we got over 630 different pensions in Illinois. It's a lot of work for a governor to balance everything. So you have to get the most brilliant minds at the table with you to balance everything in Illinois, okay? Those are my 5 main priorities, though.
My last question is this, and if we don't have any other questions, we can ready to close the show out. I know we ran a little bit past time. do you feel about, what would you be doing as far as the elderly?
Oh, yeah, senior citizens.
Senior
Yes,
citizens.
thank you.
Senior
It
citizens.
seems like the senior citizens are sort of getting lost in a
They're losing, they are losing.
and from, I'm not sure if I'm accurate or not, but I saw a study where they're saying that STDs are rising in like homes because
In nursing homes.
nursing homes. And a lot of stuff is going on in nursing homes that, you know, without me having the true knowledge of it, but I'm hearing a lot of stuff is going on.
STDs, MRSA,
yeah.
sexual assault.
Yeah, so what would you be doing personally as far as the elderly and helping out our senior
We
citizens?
all know the seniors need a lot of help. You know what I mean? I don't want to spread myself all over the place. Then I'll be faking with people. You're going to do so much. I would hire and appoint a task force to take a look at what's going on with the senior population statewide and address those issues. Bruce Rauner got away with a lot of issues in the senior, because he owns some senior citizens buildings, like nursing homes, and there was a little kid that was killed in one of the nursing homes, 2 women was killed. They didn't bring, this is factual, because of the abuse that takes place in these senior homes. So I would appoint a task force, a senior task force to address those issues. That's the best you can do. But I'm concerned about senior citizens because as I travel the state, a lot of seniors tell me that they have to work another job now because they can't depend on their pensions.
That's true.
I would hate to have to wait on a check once a month, and then I thought I was going to get a certain amount, now I'm worried about it, so I don't want senior citizens going through that. That's why we have to stop messing with their pensions. We have to do that.
I totally agree.
But do we have any further questions before we wrap it up? Go ahead, we got it.
I'm a convicted felon.
Yeah.
You know, I did 10 years in penitentiary, and they had different chapels and stuff for different people for religion. Like, what can we do to get God back into the schools? You know what I'm saying? Without it being a conflict and respecting everybody's religion.
Well, it should have never been a conflict, but what happens when you get these leaders that are weak and they don't want to stand for principle? You know, nobody's perfect, but God should have stayed in the schools. But you got people playing politics with religion. That's why we have to separate religion from politics. Seriously. I still pray 3 times a day. I'm not a perfect person, I'm spiritual, right? But the thing is, I know the power of God in my personal life. And I want young people to know the power too, so they won't be so void, devoid from God. Because as long as you got a God conscience, that can hold you a lot of times when you're going through a storm.
And keep you.
No, we got to get it back in the school. That's important. So I love God with everything I say and do. So I agree with you on that.
So we can expect an honest governor.
I'm straight up. That's the best I can do. I like looking people dead in their faces. I'm not one of the guys that talk to you sideways and all that kind of stuff. I know the thing is this here. I'm not going to be able to produce on everything. I'll be lying to you. But I'm going to produce on what we can. And remember, my main goal is to stop the killing and bleeding in our community. My main goal, if God blesses me with the ability to stop the killing, that's vacant.
All right.
Well, where can they find you on social media? And tell everybody where they follow you as far as your campaign is going.
Yeah, HardimanForIllinois.org, that's my website. Tio Hardiman, my name on Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. We got a lot of followers that are supporting the campaign now. And pretty soon our videos will reach 200,000 or 300,000 views and do what we have to do to get the word out. So that's how you can find me. Spread, what I need people to do for us right now is spread information about the campaign, distribute to your followers, let the people know. I plan to sit down with some of the young rappers like Lil Durk, Lil Bibby, some of them guys. I've been asked to sit down with them and see where that plays a role. But my thing is, now this might be a little deep, I love rap music. I come back to the Big Daddy Kane days. That was my man, Big Daddy Kane. So I'm saying it's just on the rap side. I'm telling my father's a rapper that I like, right? But the thing is, if the rappers are speaking so much negative, I would like to talk, especially if they're talking about killing. See, there's different ways of speaking negative. If they're talking about getting guns, going to kill everybody, I don't know if I'm going to endorse on any of that kind of stuff. But if they can change it around a little bit, I understand you're talking about money, talking about gold and women and all that, but I ain't talking about degrading women. But as long as the rappers are halfway positive, we can talk. But I'm not going to lie about that either. We can't play with that. We need strong leadership in the black community. And the reason we've been compromised is because we have a lack of brothers with backbone. It's okay to turn some money down sometimes. It's okay to say, no, I don't want that money. That's not for me. Just because Dave Chappelle did it better than anybody else. He turned down $50 million because they were trying to tell him that he don't mention his wife. He couldn't have his same friends. He said, man, hell with that. I'm going to just keep being me. and he turned the money down. Colin Kaepernick, straight up on out. He stood up, not against the national anthem, he stood up against police injustice. Look at him now God is blessing.
And Dave Chappelle came back and doubled that money.
That's what I'm talking about. So we gotta be straight up with our people, bottom line.
I would love to hear from Mama Red.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because y'all been doing all this talking. This is my sister. She got a miracle story.
Before we pass this
Yeah.
microphone though, we definitely support your movement.
Yes.
And we definitely support the campaign. And just keep us posted, anything that you got going on, we would love to be a part of as far as interview coverage and different things like that. I think it's really good that a black man is running for governor and you're not afraid.
I might be too strong for some people, but it'll be okay.
But guess what? Sometimes strong and aggressive, it works. You know, it's kind of a double sword.
Yes, it is.
You know, a lot of people don't like the people that with
Right.
the big mouths, but those are the ones that speak for the people.
Right.
I go through that myself, so I think you rock, and I wish you much well in this campaign. Russ?
I'm waiting to hear from Mama Red.
Okay. Mama Red?
This is a miracle story here. Yeah.
First of all, I just want to thank God for giving me an opportunity to be out and celebrate and also be a part of this movement with my daughter Brandy Martin. My name is Pastor Georgetta Martin, and I am Mama Red. But I want to say I'm also a pastor as well. I pastor the Take It to the Lord in Prayer Outreach Ministries, where we are changing the inside of men and women, and the total man being changed and transformed from the inside out. Our mission statement is to raise up leadership and to win souls. But I can appreciate Tio, because when I was in a very low place in my life in the late 1980s, early 1990s, something like that, I met him, and actually I had the privilege to stay in one of the homes that he took women in, where, you know, I don't want to go into detail, but I was in a low place. And he took me in and he helped me, and there was training on the premises, encouragement, social services. We ate good, the fellowship was good, and also the encouragement from him. He did a follow-up with me at Doctor's Hospital. I was transferred to another facility. He kept up with me to make sure I was good. So I would just like to say I think he is a perfect candidate for governor. He is loyal and committed to the cause. I've kept up with him, and I've had my eyes and watching all the things he's been doing since we last saw each other. I haven't seen him in like about 20 years. It has been quite a long time, but I have kept my ears open to what he was doing, like ceasefire for the violence, stop the violence. Also working with recovery community, also a community activist, and he is a man's man. You know, when I say that he is a true man, he's not just saying things just to be saying it or to tickle your ears or make you feel good or even to get a vote. He is truly a man of honor and integrity. So I believe that he will do this state of Illinois a great movement. I believe things will be changed around and transformed. And I just know that he is truly who he says he is. So I believe in him. And so if anybody is willing to stand with me, I'm going to vote for you.
You gave my vote tonight.
I'm going to vote for you. And I thank God for one thing I do want to say is I do totally agree with you that we need some strong leadership in our culture. We don't have that now. We used to have it when I was coming up. I'm 60 years old. We had strong leadership. We don't have that now. So we need to get this man in office, y'all, because he has the right mindset. He's under the right anointing at the right time. We need men like him. And so we need to put him in office. So get out and vote for him. Get petitions and get them signed. And we're going to get it, we're going to make it happen for you. All right. And so I just want, can I say too about the event I'm having?
Yes,
I'm having an event on December the 17th at Greatest Straightway Missionary Baptist Church at 10359 South King Drive. We are going to, yes, Pastor Brooks, Apostle Brooks is one of my mentors, But the ministry I have was launched out 5 years ago, so I'm kind of a new kid on the block, but I've been in ministry quite some time now. But I want to say I would like to see you all come out. I'm not the traditional pastor and I'm not religious. I'm a spiritual person, having a supernatural experience. So I just want to say if you all come out, we're going to have fun. We're going to lift up Jesus, God in the house, and we're going to praise and worship Him. We're going to have some young people out where they're going to do what they do. They're going to worship, praise, play, whatever they do. We're going to let their gifts be in operation. So we're going to have a great man of God out. His name is Apostle Ken Hester. He is also a great teacher for our culture as well. He's going to be the guest speaker for that night. That's at 10359 South King Drive, December the 17th at 4 o'clock, from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening. So please come out and feel free to come out and celebrate and enjoy Jesus with us and with each other.
All right.
Love is the key, y'all.
Give it up for Mama Rich, y'all. Hey, y'all, I want to thank everybody for coming through tonight. If I can get everybody that was a part of the show to just come up for a quick second. So we can
And
take
I'm
a
just
picture.
gonna say, we do have to tell the story, I was told the last time the three of us was together, that when he does get him to see that my artist will be at that fall performance.
That's right.
So I am so pleased to announce that for those that missed that, y'all heard that big red thing, we'll be at that governor's ball, because you will be elected.
Get on over here, Mr. Simeon.
Mr.
Simeon.
Get on over here. Hey, once again, I want to thank everybody for coming out. We had a great time. I want to extend my thanks to Jeff Eden in the entrance venue. This has been a great night for us. Be looking. I want to also give shout out to State of Path Films, Nathaniel White, my Midwest Militia partner Johnny St. Cool. I see we got Brandy Crispon in the building. Hey, what's going on, lady?
Hey, Queen.
Hey. So I want to thank everybody that came through tonight. This has been a great show. This is the Russian Red Show. Thank you for our
Shout out to my daughters, all 7 of them. All my 7
Mama
boys.
Dukes, it's a Mama Dukes. But-
She had the microphone and just couldn't get it all in when she had the microphone.
And
That's
before
that
we leave,
preacher stuff. I'll be done in 5 minutes.
I got so caught up in the knowledge that you were sharing, I forgot to actually send this out. So for those out there, this jewelry that will be sporting from now on, I have became a brand ambassador for Joint-Heir. Please follow this young lady. She is a creative queen. She makes chains hand carved by herself. She hand carves these. She makes shoes, lighters, candles, you name it, she makes it. So y'all follow on all social media sites. Joint-Heir, that's YOTAZY.
Hey, we want to thank everybody once again. We're about to wrap up the show. I appreciate y'all. Y'all give yourselves a round of applause.
The Russian Red Show.
And you know this, man.
Yeah, I'm
I
Russia.
had a great time.
It was definitely.
It's time to close the show. Why is you still talking to me? Shut up.
Close.
Bye. I can't stand you.
I know you.
I love you too, man.
All right, Russian Red Show, y'all.
Thank you, brother. 30 minutes. Let me check. All right, thank you, baby.